Well, the wind is blowing, it's 106 degrees, and I feel like I'm standing in a giant hairdryer. But I'm in the desert, which is my happy place, and I've got this, the 2022 GMC Sierra AT4X. Now this is really similar to the Chevy Silverado ZR2, and it's a step above the Sierra AT4 that is already available. So when you want a little bit more, capability, this is it. But I'm not here to talk about it, I'm here to drive it, so let's go. So what I've got here is a 6.2 liter V8 engine pushing out 420 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. But that, my friends, is not the story. This vehicle has the Multimatic DSSV dampers, and you guys, they are so good off-road. So what makes them different is that instead of having like traditional shims, instead you have this like variable rate spool valve, and it's kind of engineering magic. As long as you don't overwhelm that, you're gonna be able to hit hills, you're gonna be able to hit whoops, you're gonna be able to hit dips in the road, and it's gonna be really soft. So what you think might be a butt pucker, like, oh my gosh, this is gonna hurt, the truck will just sail right through it really, really smoothly. I wish that I could get a set of these for my car because I love them that much. Now, you guys don't think that this is some kind of like a long travel desert runner, because it's not, okay? I've only got like 9.8 inches of travel in the front and a little bit over 10 in the rear. So you really have to be careful not to overwhelm that travel if you want that nice cushy ride. I've got a couple of different drive modes here. I'm currently in off-road mode, which is loosen the stability control and the traction control up just a little bit so I can have a little bit more fun and really power through those turns, get the back end to slide out just a little bit. And there's also a terrain mode, which is best for rock crawling. Will give me one pedal control so I don't ever have to use the brake. I can just control it with the throttle. This truck also has a low range and front and rear lockers. Now we are on our way to a place called Diablo Drop, which they have assured me is quite difficult. Now this V8 engine is mated to a 10-speed automatic transmission, and it's a really, really good pairing. And right now we're in a lead-follow situation. I can't really get on it, but I know from past experience that this thing is offering out plenty of power. And I do love this transmission. It's very, very smooth. It's doing its thing in the background. I haven't really felt it upshift or downshift. It's just very, very smooth. But if I wanted to, I can actually use the paddle shifters if I want to actually keep it in a gear. Like let's say if I'm going through sill, I've got the paddle shifter, so I do have manual control. Now when you really come to off-roading on this thing, I mean look, it's not a rock crawler, right? Like yes, there is a low gear, but the axle ratio, it's only 323. So don't expect any kind of like real incredible crawl ratio. But having said that, like there's a fair amount of ground clearance. Now you might hear it scrape a little bit here, but that's what rock rails are for, right? The only problem you might have in this vehicle is its approach angle. It's only 25.5 degrees, so you're gonna have to plan your line, otherwise you're just gonna like scrape off the entire front bumper. Departure angle is about 23 degrees, and they haven't told us what the breakover angle is, but I mean, that feels pretty good. This truck is wearing 32-inch Goodyear Duratrac tires, and they're not my favorite tread, but they're doing okay. I've aired down to about 15 PSI. I'm going uphill through some of this soft stuff here, and it's shaking around a little bit, but it is getting the job done. Now, one thing that is unique to this vehicle is the one pedal mode, right? So what I can do in this is I can use the pedal without using my left foot to brake. All I need to do is just lift on or off the throttle, and the car will slow down for me. Excuse me, this is a truck. The truck will slow down for me. Now, of course, I know you're not gonna take this truck out on the dirt at all times, so let's see how it drives on the pavement. Now, as much as I love these Multimatic shocks on the dirt, you guys, they are stellar on the pavement. Normally when you've got an off-road shock that's tuned for the dirt, it's gonna be really soft, and that translates to a lot of body roll on the pavement. But here, it just doesn't exist thanks to that spool valve technology. I mean, I could be going a lot faster up this curvy road and wouldn't be a problem, but I just saw 6 cops back there, so I want to keep it in check. Now, when it comes to the difference between the Silverado ZR2 and this Sierra AT4X, what you're gonna find is that it's all in the details inside. You've got just a little bit more luxury here, right? Like the materials are all better. You've got a little bit better fit and finish. I love the contrasting stitching because I'm just like a contrasting stitching kind of gal. I do like how I've got a fancy pants engine start stop button, and my towing brakes have been moved back here behind the gear shift, so they're a little bit more easily accessible. These row of buttons here on the Silverado, they're up underneath the screen. Here they are below this new HVAC control center, and I love these dials and the buttons here. They look really, really nice. However, there's a lot of like GM buttons in here. I mean, you'll see it on everything. My four-wheel drive control over here, yeah, like you can tell it's a GM car. The AT4X has got a really large landscape-oriented screen. I haven't had a lot of time to play with the infotainment system, but I will tell you that it has Google Maps integrated, which I love, right? Like, why try to reinvent the wheel? We all know Google Maps, we all love Google Maps, so thanks GM for giving it to me. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about this cool tailgate that opens up about 6 billion ways. Just love this tailgate, it's my favorite thing. Now, when it comes to price, this 2022 GMC Sierra AT4X is gonna set you back about $77,300 including destination. Now, yes, that is more than the Chevy Silverado ZR2, but you get just a little bit more luxury.